Hi, it's Stephana here, and you're listening to Stephana Speaks. I am talking to you on an early bright, it's actually not bright here, except for the lights that I've created, but it's a nice Labor Day here in the Northwest, and I've got some fun things to talk about today. I'm excited about talking about money and how its relationship to our whole play, how the stage of our life is affected by our relationship with money and how we've developed its character in our life. One of the things that I like to start my shows out with is the pilot method that I've created, and that starts like this. So pilot is my concept not only as an acronym but as an analogy of life. So a lot of times we can get stuck on automatic pilot and we're just going through the motions. Some of those motions other people have put together for us and established for us in lieu of our lack of creating our own life. And so we get on what I call automatic pilot, and we forget that we are the creators of our life. So the acronym that I created, pilot, from that is that P is practicing presence, and every time I start wavering and something's going off, and usually I can gauge that from the emotion, right? The emotion that's feeling like, okay, something's going on here, and just like when you are hungry, what you do is you eat. If you're tired, you sleep. And so with the emotions, as a human being, our emotions are, if we're feeling some emotion, there are things that we can do that are, I was going to say sane or proactive, because a lot of times we do things that are not, we do them reactively as opposed to responding. So one of the things that you can work on, and that as I work on practicing presence and putting through these basics on the pilot method, practicing presence allows you to observe the emotion rather than reacting to it from a place of what I've been calling the automatic pilot, right? So practicing presence is as simple as noticing your breath, taking a breath. Sometimes I will practice presence with my Native American flute, and that's kind of a meditation that I do, but it allows me also just to flow with my breath and to hear the sound that I'm creating, and remember that now and in this moment is where we are, and we're creating from our thoughts and our beliefs that we're creating right now, and that we are operating from is what we're generating, or how we are generating our future, and how we're generating our tomorrow, and what's going to show up in our life tomorrow. It's based on that. So the more we can practice that presence, the more we can ground or stabilize ourselves in this understanding and this awareness that we are the I am what I am, and that's all that I am, said Popeye. The second part of that acronym is the I, and for me, I is the intention, what I like to call also the sacred intention, and living intentionally. And that is that you are taking the steps to be consciously creating your world from your thoughts, from your belief patterns, from your words, from your actions. And the more you become aware, from whether it's the practicing the presence, and you become aware of where you are now, and if it's not exactly where you would like to be, rather than judging it or beating yourself up about it, just observing and noticing what it is and making changes as you intend, rather than doing them by default, or because you're going to punish yourself, or because you should be doing that. The L, actually I have 3 of them for this, because L is such a great, so great. L is for listen, and listen I have a whole slew on things like that. But laugh is the other thing. That laughter, you can't be stressed when you're laughing. It's just impossible. So I love to bring that out and have that as a key piece. And so my motto is laughter and fun, to find joy in it. If it's not fun, I don't do it. It's just not. I don't want to sound Pollyanna here, but laughter is really important, and I think it's just as important as love, because there is not a lot of room for love if you're not in a place of joy. So for me, laughter is joy. And then the third one, of course, then is love. And that, for me, is not just this love or this romantic love. It's a vibrational love. It's a vibration that is, we can all feel it. We can feel it from our thoughts. We can feel it from our emotions. So this vibration, this energetic wavelength that we all experience from one moment to the next, love is a very high vibrational wavelength, as opposed to anger. Okay, so O is observe. And this is a key skill that we can develop. And I think that, unfortunately, we have lost it as a skill. And I see it in the children as my boys are growing up. I see it, we need to teach this as a skill, because this is not something that's native, or it's been lost in the shift as we go into living in a world that's more of a digital world, and the world of computers. We've lost touch with observing even the scope of nature and living in tune with the earth and connection with a human being. We forget how to observe a human being because we're looking at a green dot to communicate with the world. And well, there's not much to observe on a green dot on my computer screen. And then T. So T of the pilot is tools. And I have a toolbox full of tools. And sometimes one tool is not appropriate for another tool. I like to have my tools balanced for the most part. But just like when I was getting ready to take my first flight, the tools that I carried for the airplane would not have worked had I had them in my vehicle. Some of them could have crossed over, but I needed them for the journey that I was on, and for the equipment that I had, and for the purpose. I had specific tools that I carried in the airplane and in the cockpit. And just like when we're living our lives, we need to have tools that we can use that are appropriate for our journey. And that journey, hopefully, is an intentional journey that is full of love and laughter and listening and the ability to observe, so that we can choose the right tool at the right time. All right, so that's the pilot method. And the Pilot Your Way series that I've created is like pilot your way through stress, pilot your way through depression, and it's all of that is covered in my little book, Peace Doesn't Come from a Pill. And that's really what I created from that. But I like to share it now because I think if you can even just get even a little, just like a nugget of it, you can feel a shift pretty quickly in how you start piloting your own life. All right, so now I want to talk about money. And since I've now integrated my modeling and my acting and my coaching into who I am, so I've integrated, instead of segregating out all the pieces of who I am, I've combined them into what I do as a coach, and I take them over into my acting as well. So I have, it's allowing me now to be more well-rounded when I stop segregating off the pieces of who I am, and I just come from a place of wholeness. And I love that. I'm now really coaching my clients in that as well, because this is a tremendous discovery, to come from this place of wholeness. And when I say wholeness, I mean all of you. Those are our gifts. We're out of the paradigm now where I think everybody has to be, okay, you're a salesman and that's what you do, and you're an executive and that's what you do, or you're a lawyer and that's all you are. Well, what if you are a creative as well? Do you segregate those out? And I can tell you, if you're a lawyer and you are creative and you love doing writing and you're not doing that, you're probably a very miserable lawyer, and vice versa, right? So look at, what's his name? Is it Gresham? John Gresham, and A Time to Kill, and all of his great books that he's done. Now, we know that he had, I mean, so that's a perfect example of someone expressing their unique and their soul's song, and not letting their soul's song die within them. And that's my advocacy, is that I don't want anyone's music to die inside of them. And if I can be a part in helping that music play and come out and be center stage, that's what I do. And I use that concept of center stage because I'm an actor, and that's my favorite expression of myself, and expressing in imaginary circumstances, but living truthfully in those imaginary circumstances, just expressing all of the emotion within me, and expressing just expressing yourself fully without stifling or choking off who you are. And yeah, so that's what that's about. I love that. Okay, money. I decided to do, so each day that I'm going to do this for the month of September, I'm going to do, so it's Monday, and we're going to talk about this. So this is how I like to set the stage. Money is a character in our play. Let's look at it that way, and this will really help give you an idea of how this works. So besides money being, okay, you need to make more than you spend, and you put some away for a rainy day. Now that's real simple, and that's usually what I teach my boys at this level when they're still young and 5 and 8, and I'm not messing around with too much stuff, but the basics of you make more than you spend and you put some away for a rainy day, and that's how it is even with our little allowance. There is more to it than that, and I'm not talking about the finance aspects of having your CPA and keeping your books and all of that right now. What I'm talking about specifically is your relationship with and to money. And as an actor, so if we look at this, there's the whole scope of what constitutes the stage and setting the stage. And as an actor, if you have a relationship with your fellow characters, let's say, for example, the villain, he's the antagonist in this stage, and your relationship is really, it's just, he's evil and it's disgusting and you feel horrible about it. Well, so there's that concept. Now think about how you feel about money. Oh, well, it's dirty and it's bad and I'm afraid of it, and it's just confusing and upsetting. And so you hear all these words and the energy around it. If we keep creating that negative relationship, and essentially it's a relationship, but we sometimes think that it's an inanimate object. But I want you to get the concept that it's more of a character in your play, and how you relate to it and your feelings about it and your vibration about it affects how it shows up in your life. It's going to keep showing up as a villain in your life if you keep viewing it and having energy about it that it's a villain, that it's dirty, that it is bad, that it is scary, that it is whatever it is for you. So what is it for you? What is it for you? How can you, so if you practice presence with it, this is what I like to do as a little exercise, is we sit down and write out what our relationship with money looks like and define it in the state of a character. When I was doing plays, when we worked through the character analysis of each character, as well as the character that I was going to take on, I would get everything that I could about this character. I would understand the nuances. I would go back and create a whole history with it. I would create everything to build a life around this character and for this character for me. So it would start to live and breathe within me. And you can do this with money as well, because it's a character. I guarantee you, money is a character in your play. And the more you know about this character and you understand its history and you understand its childhood and you understand all of the pieces that have come about and have been created and developed over your lifetime with money and over your generational lifetime, because you also have the characters of your parents and your siblings and teachers and family who have created or helped to develop the character of money. And you have to look at what they gave you in terms of the relationship of money and what they gave that character of money. And when I know at first it sounds really, oh, that's so much work, but I can guarantee you when you start to actually do this process, you can sit down and spend 10 or 15 minutes just developing the character of money and how it is in your life. How is this character? And you can start to notice as you write down the character development of money in your life and see whether or not it's the antagonist, the villain, or the protagonist, or the leading man in your life. And I'm going to speak to you assuming that you're a woman. If you're a man, or you can decide that it would be, think of it as your leading man in your life or your leading woman in your life. And it's a lead character. Money is a lead character in your life. And so if you look at it as a relationship and wanting it to be shifted from the villain into the lead and it being the hero of your life, you're going to watch how money shows up in different ways now and how you start to relate to it in a different way. If you're afraid of it, or if you feel it's evil, or if you feel it's dirty, how is that going to show up then in your life? Your natural living truthfully in the imaginary circumstance of our stage, right? You're living truthfully with money if it's showing up as a villain and fearful and dirty and degraded and mean and evil. Think about how you're responding to it and how, as a result of that response, what is actually then generated on the stage of your life. So I like using that as analogies. It's really very helpful. It's because not everybody is an actor. Not everybody wants to be on the stage, but everyone is the lead in their own life, and everyone does have extras in their life. Characters, and they have people who are hanging out in the wings and maybe are talking and criticizing, and everyone also has an audience. And this is why I like to bring this up. So when I help women entrepreneurs and fellow coaches and consultants get their business on center stage, I'm talking about not only getting their business on center stage, I'm talking about getting their business on center stage. So your business is your truth, your music, your talents, your gifts. Stepping out, stepping up, and getting center stage. So we want to look at all of that, and then the pieces, the components of that, and the piece around getting your business on center stage is also that, money is part of that. And I encourage you to look at it as a character in your stage, in your play. All the world's a stage, Shakespeare says it, and I love that. I think that we can look at that every day and see, okay, the thoughts that we're thinking right now are creating what's going to show up in our life tomorrow and all the tomorrows. And coming back to practicing presence, they say there's over 60,000 thoughts that go through our mind a day. What percentage of those are created in the terms of villain? And as a result of a villain in your life, there would have to then be a victim. There's always the two sides. That's just how our life is set up in humankind. We've got two sides of a coin usually. If there's a villain, there's going to be a victim. So if that's showing up as a villain, are you the victim of money in your life? We could take out money and put anything in it, but today's Monday, so we're talking about money. And the other side of that is also, if it's showing up as the hero, then you can even just ask the hero, the lead, what is it that I need to be doing in order for you to show up more in my life and be more there for me? Because you can even ask it. Ask your money hero, what is it you need from me in order for you to show up? I want more of you. I want your protection. I want your gifts. What is it that I need to do? And if you get really quiet and you practice your presence and you observe and you listen with the intention of understanding, you'll see how that relationship will shift. And just like in relationships with anyone, what you give is what you get. So if you start to give from this place of presence and give from this place of intentional understanding and love, and that energy of love, you know what I'm talking about? So just to give a little more peace on this, this is love, the vibration from David Hawkins' book on power versus force. Fabulous book, really fabulous in understanding the wavelength of energy and what happens as a result at different energy wavelengths. Now look at the energy in the relationship of money, and if your wavelength is down around anger and fear, that is really dense energy and very solid. So think about how many walls are being created at that level of energy. So if we can raise that vibration and we can look at it from this vibration of love and compassion and understanding and really higher vibrations, and feel how the shift in the energy, the relationship with your money, and I love this concept of bringing it into more of a persona. Just like when we're doing characters, that character is a piece of paper. It's totally inanimate, it's intangible, until I start to bring it to life by understanding its background, understanding where it came from, understanding its history, understanding what it loves, understanding what it needs. So understanding your money hero's needs can give you so much compassion for money and love for money. Now get this when I'm saying the money hero, because it is a character in your life. And if you look at it as this character in your life that can be created as a positive character, it shifts big time. All right, so I hope you try it out and bring it more to the point where you're getting your business on center stage. And to get your business on center stage, money is a key component in it. And where is that character showing up for you? How is it showing up? Is it a hero or is it a villain? I'm Stephana Johnson. I'm going to go over a little bit of housekeeping really quickly here and tell you. So my website is stephanajohnson.com. I'm an actress and a model and a business coach, and I specialize in helping women entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants get their business on center stage so they have more clients and cash flow. And some of the work that I do is very, very deep because we are talking about your business that is your truth, right? And getting that on center stage. When I talk about business, I'm not just talking about the business. I'm talking about your business, your unique voice, your unique talents and gifts. And the pilot method, the one that I'm working on right now, I'm specifically working for families, especially since it's back to school season and families are the forefront of my mind. I've got my boys 5 and 8, and so Pilot Your Way Through Stress is the first in the series, and you can get more information and actually get a free PDF download of the pilot method that I talked about in the beginning. It's a great tool to have, and within itself, the acronym is a great way to settle into creating and practicing your life from a place of piloting it as opposed to automatic pilot. All right, so I'm going to sign off here. Hope you have a fabulous day. I was going to tell you a joke just to have fun and laugh, but to tell you the truth, I don't really know one. But my 5-year-old told me this. He's really a little creative guy, and he's telling me a couple of jokes. So I'll just share one. He says, "Why did the cow jump over the?" And then he says, "Moo." Anyway, is that cute or what? All right. Peace and blessings. Have a fabulous Monday. And since it's Labor Day, enjoy and blessings to all those that have gone before us and stood up for our rights as workers. And yeah, okay. Have a great one.